Yes. Good evening. Today is November 9th, 6 p.m. for the TAPS meeting at City of Pinole. And the chair call the meeting to order.
Hello, let's call the TAPS meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You. Just go ahead and just do the roll call for the committee members. Committee member Ben Doyle,
Present.
Faith Dunham Sims,
Present.
Kent Moriarty. Here. Oliver Collins.
Present.
Thank you. I'm going to move forward. Item number 3. And just, give me a second. Item number 3, approval of September 14th, 22 minutes. If the committee members can vote, or if they have any comments to change the minutes, I would like to ask for a vote or any comments.
I make a motion to accept the minutes if no one has any changes.
Any second?
This is Oliver, I second.
Thank you. I'm going to roll call. Committee member Ben Doyle,
I'm not sure I've seen him, so I'll abstain.
okay. Faith Dunham Sims,
Yes.
Ken Moriarty. Approve. Oliver Collins.
Approve.
Thank you. Item number 4, committee member have any reports for this TAPS meeting today?
I do not.
Thank
Oh,
you.
wait, I just thought of something. I'm this is Kent Moriarty. I'm just recently was asked by Bike East Bay to be the alternate member of the county, what is it, CBPAC, County Bike Action Committee. I think I got that a little bit wrong, but I haven't gone to any meetings yet, but I wanted to do that. It exposes me to what's going on in the county, and I hope to be able to bring something useful back to this group.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Ben Doyle, anything to report?
Sanjay, thanks.
Okay. Mr. Collins?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 5, citizen to be heard. We have a public meeting speaker card from Matt Avery regarding red curve at PVR.
The additional red curb on Pinole Valley Road at Rafaela Street. That evening, I posed 4 questions and then provided additional comments and 4 additional questions to Mr. Mishra that evening via email. And to date, I have heard received no response and no follow-up. On a separate subject, I submitted a public records request on August 11th for information about this process through the city clerk's website. First time I received any correspondence from the city was 19 days past my initial request, which is well past the 10 days as required by Government Code 6253B. And the correspondence was the need to assert time to consult across departments, but gave no, in that correspondence, it gave no estimated time or date as to when the information would be provided, again, required by 6253B of the Government Code. On September 9th, 29 days after my initial request, I requested an update, never received a reply. On October 17th, I requested another update on my request. This is now 65 days, 45 business days past my initial request, asking for an update, received no reply. On October 26th, we're now 74 days past my initial request. I indicated, I wanted an update, and that if I didn't receive any response by November 2nd, I'd have to escalate my actions. Unfortunately, I was out of town and not able to follow up on the 2nd. Finally received a response on November 8th. And when I logged onto the system, there's no documents that I can view. It's been 78 days, 63 business days since I made that request. My question to the commissioners and city staff, is that acceptable? I know you can't answer that tonight, but obviously frustrated. Additionally, I'm happy to see that the commissioners now have their own city email addresses, and that might prevent some of this from happening in the future, increase efficiency and compliance. So I'd be more than happy to resend those questions if needed. I would like to pose a question. When will I get a response to my 8 questions and procedural comments, or comments about the procedure?
So for the PRA request, I can confirm that Public Works has provided all the document we could find to our city clerk's office. But I know that somehow there was some delay from the city clerk's office to post it to the website, the government QA or something. But
I understand that, across departments and all that. But really, when I get the response today or on the 8th indicating that there are documents for me to review, I can't even see those. They're not available to me. I can explain why that occurred, but I'll let you follow up with staff on that. But the bigger question is, I posed 8 questions and have comments on the procedure for this. When can I expect some sort of response in regards to those questions and comments?
So to the TAPS committee, I forwarded those emails from Mr. Avery, and whether the TAPS committee would like to respond to any of those, or should we take some more time to?
I don't think it's appropriate to do it right now. I'm speaking on something, citizens to be heard. That's not the time for you to respond in detail. I would just like to know, when can I expect a response? It would be completely inappropriate for you to respond tonight. It's not agendized, and the public wasn't notified that you'd be having a discussion about this. So unfair to anybody else that is involved, which leads to the bigger question of how these meetings are being conducted and the public notification, and is the public allowed proper notification so that they can be involved?
Sanjay, I don't recall seeing those emails forwarded, and it's very possible you did, and it's gotten lost in translation. Would you be able to send those back out to us again?
Yes.
So we can give it due attention.
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you.
So I know we're going into the holidays. Don't know if you'll have a December meeting, but I'm hoping that, maybe by January, February at the latest, I can get a response and hopefully move forward. I think that would be adequate time so that the public can be notified. And if need be, I can forward the information again, but I'll let Mr. Mishra let me know if he needs that. And I'm sure that the PRA will get worked out, but obviously adds to the issues and the question as to whether the city is truly responsive to concerns of their citizens. Yeah. Thank you.
Go ahead and continue with item number 6, traffic and pedestrian safety issues that we have received during this time. First item number under 6 is the safety hazard that a resident has provided at Marlesta and Sunnyview Drive. Drivers are making donuts at all hours at this intersection, which says the safety hazard. This is a 4-way intersection, and they're requesting if there is something can be done to prevent that.
Mr. Mishra, I have a follow-up question from what Mr. Avery did during Citizens to be Heard. And is he asking questions of the TAPS committee members about a decision that was made, or is he requesting documents from the city?
He's requesting a response to an email he sent to me and asked me to forward to the TAPS committee members, and he's requesting some response to his questions in that email. And this is regarding the red curb at Pinole Valley Road and Rafaela Street.
Okay, it's a public records request, and I don't believe that we outside the minutes for the meetings, we don't create any records or have any documents. So I don't know that we would have anything responsive to his request, but I will leave it up to you to work out those details.
Okay, there are actually 2 parts. He does have a PRA request for the communications, which is separate from the email what he sent. So,
okay.
Thank you. Eric, can you let the speaker the raise from the online?
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, I'm a senior citizen, taxpaying citizen of Pinole. I'd just like to start by saying a couple housekeeping items, and I hope you don't deduct my time. It should add to my time for equal time, as you gave Mr. Avery close to 10 minutes there because he showed up in person. But the housekeeping item is that your people or the Pinole TV had not posted the telephone access numbers to the meeting before the meeting or during the start of the meeting, or even now while it's open for public comment. And I didn't hear you formally open the public comment section to the public. But anyway, that being said, I would like more than my 3 minutes for my time here rather than afford it to somebody else. But that being said, I wanted to know if there was any kind of a study done on Pinole Valley Road when they decided to put up those 5 or 6 or 7 stoplights from the library through the high school, through Ramona, through those different streets there, Granada and Estrella. And if we can have a study to remove some of them, because I thought it was still just a temporary Band-Aid for the construction purposes of that high school. And you know, we're supposed to have a reduction of carbon emissions with all the stop and go and the traffic in the morning. It's not only adding to more pollutants by 10 to 30% for stop and go drivers, as well as it's impeding the traffic flow up and down Pinole Valley Road. So the least they could do is put on late night blinker lights like a yellow or red blinker lights. And you can ask Mr. Avery that, since he's there representing the police department tonight, I assume. If that's a possibility, if you don't want to do a formal traffic study and or remove a few of those stoplights there, after 8 or 9 o'clock at night, they should put maybe yellow and red blinker lights till 4 or 5 in the morning or something to that effect. Also, that telephone pole situation on the corner of Shea, across from Shea where the crosswalk is leading into Granada, we have 2 telephone poles duct taped together. One is chopped off on the bottom. That's and cabled together with 1 or 2 orange cones. That's still a hazard to the pedestrians and to drivers. It's very confusing, and it's also impeding ADA regulations with the access to that crosswalk there. It's blocking, those 2 telephone poles are blocking the ADA access. And so I don't know who's supposed to put the new telephone pole together other than duct taping it as it stands. And then I would also like to say that during that last, I think they should have a, rather than just going around and painting red curbs here and there, I think they should paint the bold outs or the bullnose curbs on those islands throughout the city. Myself and other people have had near accidents or they've damaged their tires and their car, their front end, by hitting some of those curbs at night when the lighting is bad, because the lights are bad up and down Pinole Valley Road, down through Tennant and down San Pablo Avenue, all the way from Tennant to Appian. And, you know, that's costing me over $100 to replace the tire and a rim there. And those bull nose curbs, some of them aren't painted at all. Some of them are all faded white. Some of them have a little orange plastic markers and reflection signs right there at the edge of the corner. And it's a 6-inch curb with rocks, usually decorative big river rocks in them. And you must have several dozen of those throughout the city. So what's so hard about accessing like a can of night white iridescent light paint and going to paint 3 or 4 or 5 feet bullnose curbing to protect the public safety and their property and their cars and automobiles. And then also put some orange markers, a little orange marker sign, maybe a 3 or 4 foot orange marker sign there, like that it's marking the edge of the curb so people can see it at night, as well as you have a couple of them, those little markers in the ground, those couple 3 reflectors in the ground on a couple of those islands. So why don't
Mr. Boxspring, can you limit your discussion, please? Another 10 seconds.
I had one last item regarding that important safety study they did last night that you partake or didn't partake in the city council meeting where they approved the $965,000 or near $1 million to put out some reparations around Pear, Tennant, and Plum Street. And I think they should have done a more in-depth study on what effect, when they do all of that work, how it's gonna affect the neighboring cross streets and the parallel streets. And Mr. Avery can attest to that. He's a professional police traffic person, that everyone's gonna start taking detours to these side streets and cause a lot more traffic and congestion and maybe some accidents on those side streets. So they hadn't addressed that.
Thank you. I mean, this is supposed to be on the comment, supposed to be on this item. Anyway, does the committee member would like to discuss on the item number 6 for the safety hazard at Marlesta and Sunnyview Drive?
I'm sorry, Sanjay, what are you asking if we should?
If you would
Um,
like to discuss anything on the item number 6, safety hazard at the Marlesta Road and Sunnyview Drive, where people are doing donuts at the intersection, which is a safety hazard, and whether you would recommend that the city staff look into it and figure out if there is a way to something can be installed to stop that.
Well, I'm guessing that's a matter initially for police. They do donuts in my neighborhood too. And short of putting, roundabouts or traffic circles everywhere, I'm not sure what the answer is, but yeah, I don't.
Okay.
And this is Oliver. I've been out to that intersection, saw the tire marks on the ground. So yes, it's happening there, but it's also happening at APN and San Pablo and Henry and and Pinole Valley. So it's happening a lot. And I think Faith is correct. I think we just have to start out or recommend enforcement.
Thank you. The second item, which was sent by members of the public, it is regarding the condition of the pedestrian trail and bike path behind a path which is actually connects to the bridge from Sarah Court to Pinole Valley Shopping Center near Jamba Juice, which is in poor condition. And just wanted to let you know that portions of those trail does not belong in the public right of way. It is not city of Pinole's property, and that's really a private property. Even if people are using it, is still a private property. I believe that is the shopping center Red Onion owner owns most of those trail. And the members of the public who commented that, I believe he may be under the impression that that belongs to the city and it should be fixed. City owns the bridge and they had some comments about that. So I had some repair work done on the bridge, but for the trail, we won't be able to do anything until those are dedicated to the city. Go ahead.
I just wanted to get some clarification on what the city owns and what doesn't, because part of that path it is owned by the city, certainly.
Yes, part of the meaning from the bridge towards Sarah Court, that city owns that. But from the bridge which is going toward the school, that city does not, that is a private property.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I recently looked at the assessor's website and maybe I interpreted it wrong, but it looked to me like it wasn't.
Okay, we can check it again, but I was looking at during the time of when we were verifying for the lighting and land assessment district, and that was part of that whole portion was part of the shopping center plaza owner. I believe it is the Red Onion or something there, which is right adjacent to the schools. Yeah, that portion is completely private.
Would it be appropriate for the committee to offer the contact information of the property owners so that concerned citizens can petition the property owners to improve the path on, if they so choose?
We definitely have the contact information, but I'm not sure whether any privacy policy is going to be affected. I'll check with our attorney. But if that is not an issue, then I think we can provide those information.
I had some thoughts. I guess we don't have to get stuck on exactly what part the city owns, because we know the city owns part of it. So I think even without that information, we know the city owns part of it. It's clear that the whole path is degraded beyond the point that you can just put tar on it. And that path is really, there's a lot of community engagement and community use of that path. As an example, just the other weekend, there was a litter cleanup along the path. It was a group effort. The groups involved were Earth Team, which is students from the high school, the Friends of Pinole Creek, the Rotary Club, and the Contra Costa Resource Conservation District all got together a couple weekends ago and were involved in picking up trash along the path. And I know we're not talking about trash, but that's just an example of how much community involvement there is and how heavily it's used. So I think it's important that whatever part Pinole is responsible for, that the city step up and fix it. One way that could happen, I think, is that this group, TAPS, could make a recommendation to council that it be put on the when the capital improvement plan is updated. We could ask council to consider putting this repair of the path in the capital improvement plan. And by the way, this is the same way that council is handling the improvements on Tenant by considering putting it in the capital improvement plan as the next review period comes up. And I think that'd be beneficial, even if it's unfunded. We could put it in the capital improvement plan as an unfunded item, or the council could do that. We can't. But if it's there and if it's unfunded, it's a lot easier, I think, to get grants, because it shows to granting agencies that we're serious about, the council's already approved it and that we're serious about doing it. I know in the past, a couple of times, 2 times in a row, I think, the city applied for TDA Article 3 grants and we were rejected. And I think it wasn't in the CIP. I wonder if it was, and we applied for that grant or possibly a Safe Routes to Schools grant, because it's clearly used by students going to school. We might be able to get funding to make that happen.
Maybe I'll just add a little note there. The portion which is owned by the city of Pinole, I think TDA grant probably can fund those whenever it happens, but they'll definitely not fund until the private property portion of it.
But we know certainly part of it is responsibility of the city.
Yeah.
So we could improve the part we can.
And just a grant note, that's all.
Yeah. So I guess I'd like to make a motion that TAPS recommend to the city council that they include repairs of the part of the path that the city is responsible for, that they include those repairs in the next update to the capital improvement plan.
Would you be open to the idea of recommending also like public-private partnership for the other part of the trail?
I guess we all want to get the whole thing repaired. I would hate to get it. I guess we don't know. That's complicated, and I'd hate to make it so complicated that it would never get done. I wonder if we could if we could make the motion that to keep it clean, that we request that council address the part that the city owns, and then maybe in the meantime, look into options for the more complicated private part.
All right, well, I'll second that.
Okay, I'll just have a roll call. Mr. Doyle,
Yeah,
Mr. Moriarty,
Yes,
Faith Dunham Sims,
Yes,
Mr. Collins. Thank you.
I had a question. Since I know it's a role of this TAPS committee to make recommendations to council, but it really, in reality, it doesn't really happen that often. Would you as a staff member make that?
I would prepare, I would prepare a staff report and send it to the TAPS committee to look at it, and then I can present it to the council. If you're happy with the staff report, then we can do that. So. I'm going to move on to item number 7 for staff updates. Can you forward the slides? Okay. The first on the list is CIP projects. The APNMRLS, the road intersection project is awarded. And also a notice to proceed has been issued to the contractor. Contractor is expecting there is a procurement time for the traffic signals there for roughly about 3 months before they can come and start any work there. But a notice to proceed has been issued to the contractor. Pinole Valley Road Improvement project is still ongoing, but the design work, we haven't moved any further than from the last time. We are actually having the consultant focus on the recent tenant and tenant corridor improvement. So we haven't been able to move any further than the last time. And development project, city still working on few of the projects. Those are under review. And the 1500 Fitzgerald Drive, Pinole Vista project at the Kmart site. And there's Pinole Source 2, that's an industrial warehouse project, 83848 San Pablo Avenue. If you or public TAPS members have any comments, they could submit, look at the details in the website and submit their comments. Active transportation plan. As part of the CIP project, we're working on an RFP to be put out, most likely this by November 15th. The RFP will be out for the city to looking for a consultant to work with us to develop an active transportation plan. And we expect that to go to council for approval in the first or second week of January. Any comments or discussion on item 7 so far?
Will we get to see what that plan is?
So are you talking about the active transportation plan?
Yeah,
This is the RFP for actually hiring a consultant who would develop the plan. And yes, you will be participating in the development of the plan.
okay.
But you won't see actually the RFP. And the RFP is a process that we go through as staff. You won't have any involvement in that, but actual plan, yes, you will. And the grants, as we previously mentioned, we have submitted HCP grants for 3 different locations for the rectangular rapid flashing beacons. We haven't, the results have not been published yet. The same thing for OBAG 3. We have submitted 2 projects. We don't know the results yet. We will update once we get the results. Item number 8, any future agenda item requests from committee members?
Yeah, I have one. On Man Drive by Pinole Valley Middle School. I think it's the school that's taken the initiative to put up a series of orange traffic cones in the street to prevent left turns in and out of the drop-off pickup area at the school because of the traffic congestion those caused. And I think it's worth looking into if they're doing that on their own, what kind of help they need, or whether the city should do something to help them make a reasoned solution, make it more permanent, or whatever needs to be done. But I think it needs looking into. It sounds like like the crossing guards have stepped up to try to control traffic beyond what's normally in scope for them.
So just a note on that. City is the one who actually working with the Pinole Valley Middle School and the Mandarin School. We are the one who provided them with the cones, but they are actually having their staff put those and take it out every day. So we worked with them to come up with this temporary plan. And we also recently provided a red curb and a white curb for drop-off and pickup zone right in front of the school. And we are actually working with them to install some permanent no left turn signs in those locations. We are also working with the consultant for some raised crosswalk around there, which will be part of a future CIP project once we have a plan. So yes, we are involved with them. So
Go us.
I have one request, if I can provide that. At Pinole, at San Pablo Ave and Sunnyview, several years ago, there was a paving project done by Dolan's Lumber and the diner across the street. And the box dots in the roadway, the lane marking are not aligned properly in the transition from one side of Sunnyview to the other side. Or if somebody can just go take a look at that. I think it's going to just require pulling up the dots and moving them over 4 or 5 feet. But there's some conflict in drivers because you have 2 lanes going eastbound, and one lane frequently will turn into the other lane because it's a little bit, the lines aren't lined up from one side of the intersection to the other. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Is that an agenda item or something that can just be fixed by?
Yeah, I think that those are really worker requests for public works. I can take a look at that, but I don't think it's a agenda item here. It is a request to verify the location and if anything we should be able to do. So.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to presume that it would be taken up as a project.
Yeah, I mean, the
Without-
agenda items is what if you like something that the committee here would like to discuss, then you take a vote and put that on the agenda. So,
Okay.
is there anything for future agenda? No. If there are no requests, can I ask chair to go to item 9 and adjourn the meeting?
All right, let's adjourn this meeting until our next meeting on December 14th, 2022 at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.